I grew up really poor, and growing up, I was kind of taught to hate or villainize rich people. They were the worst. I'm not too sure where it really came from, but I do know that I got taught that rich people are evil and they're bad and they're this and they're that. Of course, my idea of rich changed and morphed over a lot of years. As a kid, you'd think £100 was $1 million, right? So when I was young, I thought someone that could afford food was rich. I go, oh my gosh, they've got food, like, I don't have that, they must be rich. And it would go on and on over years. Oh, that person drives a car, they must be rich. Oh, that person's bought their own house, they must be rich. And you know, over the years, I'd start to think, what is rich? Oh, this person earns 100,000 a year, that's really rich, wow. At one point though, it kind of stops being like a wow thing for me, and more that person has a lot of money. What are they doing with it? That was always my question anyway. Luckily, I've been able to meet a lot of rich people over the last few years, and I have found out for myself that they're not evil. Well, some can be. Some can be mean, some can be good. Some are dumb, some are smart, some are enthusiastic about life, some ain't. They're not so much different from the people I grew up with, you know? There's the good and the bad. This video is for the rich person. The rich person that may be a bit too rich. I saw a video where two people were debating taxes in the UK. Now, it's a fact that majority of our millionaires, our billionaires, and our quadrillionaires pay most of the tax. That is just the way it is in majority of countries. Should it be like that? Maybe not, but that's the way it is. And I was getting a sense from this person that is very wealthy that because he brings in so amount, and because it's being taken away by the government, that he should be praised more. And not that he asked for that specifically, that's kind of what he was getting at. Now, I don't know about you guys, but we all have the same 24 hours in our day. Some of us use them, some of us don't. But you know what? There's two people in this world that will use their 24 hours up exactly identical, the same amount of work. One can be so poor, and one can be a multi-millionaire. So what's the difference? What is the difference between these two people's lives? They both work hard, one's poor, one's rich. Nothing. Nothing is different. Literally nothing. You can sit here and say, well, that person done this right, and that person done that right, and da-da-da-da-da. Whereas a lot of people in this world that work, and they learn new things, and they do that, and they do this, and they're not rich. There is a certain element of luck. And the thing is, when people do stuff, like become a millionaire, or maybe do an achievement, yes, it takes a lot of work, and yes, it takes a lot of persistence and courage and whatnot, all these things that pile into it. But at the end of the day, it's just a little luck as well. And a lot of people do not like to admit that, no matter what. There's a little luck in there. The first time I ever heard of this, like someone basically openly admitting that it was just a little luck to help them on their way, was PewDiePie, where when he started his channel, because he was Swedish and he spoke English, he kind of got the audiences from both countries. And then because he was dating a girl that was in Italy and she had Italian viewers, they would kind of pander on over. So he got so many different countries to view him at the same time. And what happened was he boomed in popularity because of these things. And he acknowledges that that was very lucky, right? Yes, he made great content, and yes, he entertained, but he got a little bit of luck that helped him a lot. So I bring it back to these two people, one that works hard, one that works hard, one that makes nothing, one that makes loads. At the end of the day, you cannot, there's a limit to what you can do in a day. So if I work from midnight to midnight and I can make, let's say, a couple £100, couple thousand, maybe I learn a new skill, whatever it is. The reality is I will never make the amount that a millionaire makes in an hour, because unfortunately he's got a little bit lucky. Not to say that I couldn't be rich, or anyone can be rich, that fact, but there are certain points where it's like a cap. It's like they just got that proper real luckiness on them. Do I think that the person talking has had that luck? No, I actually don't. I think that a lot of their stuff is from their hard work. Obviously, there's probably going to be a little bits of luck in there at times, but for the most part, I think they've worked for what they got and they should be proud of it. But there's got to be a point in time where you've got to realise there are some people that are not going to be able to compete with you when it comes to making money. And just because you're making money at a certain amount or a certain rate doesn't make you any better. It doesn't make you a harder worker. It doesn't make you more smarter. It doesn't make you this and that. There are plenty of people out there that make loads and loads of money that are not so smart. There are plenty of people out there that are lazy that make money. There are plenty of people out there that do all these things because, again, they are just like the poor people. Some are good, some are bad. There is lazy, there is hard workers, there's self-aware, not self-aware. They're all of them. Rich people, we like to put them, oh, if you want to be rich, you've got to be this, and you've got to be that, and you've got to be this. No, you don't. You really, really don't. Some people just get lucky. Some people don't. Some people have to work every single day to get there. Some people get lucky with something. Some people inherit it. You know, like, it really doesn't... we like to put these, like, parameters on if you want to be rich. Leave it out, right? Just because you're rich doesn't make you any better or any less valuable than anyone else. You're just the same. You're just human. Now, here's where I have a problem with wealth and rich. If it comes to a point in time where you accumulate enough money where you have everything set, and I'm talking about the essentials, I'm talking about the house, the food, maybe, it's a shelter, food, your family's okay, health-wise, and you can, you can have your fun, you can go out a few times a year and have fun, and when I go out, I mean like holidays, you can go holidays a few times a year, and you can do all the things that make you happy, and you can relax as much as you need to, and you can eat as much as you need to, and you have pretty much everything at a basic level. And that is not meaning to buy loads of unnecessary materialistic things. I'm talking the basics. Personally, for me, once that becomes a thing and you've gifted all your family and made sure that they're all good as well with these things, I think that you should take a step back and think, okay, when I go to work, what am I doing it for? Am I doing it for money, or is it a passion? If it's a passion, it's a little different. But if you are sacrificing family time or going to the gym to make you healthy, or even therapy to make your mental health, like these like really important things, if you're sacrificing time to sacrificing these things to then go make money, friend, you are greedy. And that is okay. Everyone's greedy in this life, but you get the spotlight. You get the spotlight. As a rich person, you get the spotlight because everyone can see it. Like it's in the spotlight. It's there. You can't lie about the money you make. It's there. We can see it. Everyone can see it. I think that there comes a point in time where obviously a passion is different, right? But there's got to come a point in time where you've got to lay that making money side of you down and go, do you know what? I don't need it, right? Now, if you love to make money, then go ahead. But I think you should give it away. I think you should. I think to a certain degree, of course, I'm not saying empty the bank account and go about your day. No, I'm not saying, work for free and stuff. But there comes a point in time where you've got to really understand that You've got a watch on you that's worth 500,000. Now it tells you the time. It looks nice. Now that 500,000 could do so much. 500,000 could like it's crazy the amount of money that is. What that can do for people. You know, I can give people shelter, feed people, give people a skill. It could do so much. Yet all it's doing for you is telling you the time. The same thing of what a £10 watch could give you. It gives you the same value, right? But you could make that 500,000 be a shelter for someone. That could be food for someone for years and years and years and years and years. Yet you've decided that a nice car that looks nice is more worth it than that. A watch or a suit. I can never understand wealth when it comes to a certain point. Again, as a kid, I thought that you being able to buy food was rich at first, and it kind of evolved throughout the years of what rich is. Now I kind of sit at this point where once you go above what you need to do in this life, which is provide for your family, provide for yourself, shelter, food, security, after that, you're doing too much. You're doing way too much. I feel like I've gone pretty off topic, so I'm going to bring it back now. I was probably just rambling. I have no clue what I was talking about. We're going to bring it back to the taxes. The main thing was a lot of rich people are leaving the UK. Trust me, I get it. Not even just for the taxes. I get it. But if that is the reason you are leaving a country because you are getting taxed, that is kind of crazy. Like, think about it. You're a multi-millionaire. You're getting 10 mil a year, and you're getting taxed for 6 of them. Now, whew, that is a lot. That is a lot of that's a lot of moolah. Yeah, 6 mil's a lot, and you're getting 4 of it. You're getting 4 of it. Now, should that happen? I don't think so. Not really. But there's a lot of things I don't agree with. But you've got £4 million. More money than most people in this world will ever see. Most people in our country, in the UK right now, doesn't even have a savings of 10 grand. Yeah? So if you are making, 4 mil, no, there's a bar to it, right? But if you're making a certain amount and you're getting executed for a certain amount, I understand that sucks. I do. But you're seeing probably more money than 99% of the richest people in the world, right? The America, UK are probably, they're up there, right? They're up there. They're not the richest anymore, but they're very, very, very much up there. Everyone else in the world, do you know what I mean? Like, they ain't never seen nothing like that in their life. And yet we sit here and we go, well, we're getting taxed too much, do one, I'm going to another country. I mean, it's your choice, but if that's really what it comes to, caring more about the money and less of where you grew up with, and I'm assuming that if you're leaving this country, you're probably leaving around a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of understanding of the place, a lot of connections, which is quite sad, personally. I know I don't want to be here, but not for the reason of money. Greed plagues us all, and rich people get a big stick for it because they're very good at it. And not only are they good at it, it's in the public eye. Most rich people, not most rich people, but a lot of rich people are in the public eye. And we get to see a lot of rich people that are just very greedy, and we put them all in the same boat. But the reality is, the people that we see online that are famous are mostly all the same kind of, not all of them of course, but a lot of them are the same types of people. But you come out of that world of social media or even being famous, you have a lot of diverse rich people. You know, again, you have the smart, the dumb, the lazy, the greedy, whatever. You see it all, and it's completely different. It's really different, and I think until you meet those types of people, it's very hard to understand that that's how rich people are. They're literally the exact same as us. They're exact same as poor people, and they can come in all shapes and sizes. Some of them are really, really nice, and some of them are really, really good, and some of them are not so. My advice to a rich person that is watching this right now is really try to look at what your money is doing for you right now. What does it do for you? What does it really do for you? And now ask yourself this question. How much of a difference would that make on someone else's life? Let's say you have a watch on you that's $500,000. Good, buy the watch that's $1 million. What's the difference between it? Does it feel a little bit better? Does it look a bit nicer? Does it do other things? Maybe there's a compass in there. I don't know. Right, what does that do for you? That's 500,000 more. Right, you'll be spending £1 million. Now tell me what £1 million will do for a mum of 3 in the ghetto of America. What does that do for her? You know the answer, I don't need to tell you. That's food, shelter, security. Those 3 things. I might send them to school, my kids to school. Might give her an ability to get a car so that she has more time to study for a better job. I once got told that charity is a failure of taxes. And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. I'm a big believer in that there should be a cap on the amount of money you can make within a year. Or something like that. Something like that. Because it is ridiculous that people can earn so much to a point where they don't even see the money. They don't even see the money that they'll spend for the rest of their lives. That is ridiculous. That type of money no one should wield, ever. You have a farmer, and this farmer produces food. Then there's a builder, and the builder produces shelter. And then you have a barber, let's say, right, just for the instance of this. So you have 3 people, right? And let's say this is before money comes into place. The builder wants some food. So he goes to the farmer and he asks him for food. And he goes, great, I'll get you some food if you could just build me a barn. Lovely. The exchange happens. They're both happy. They go home. Love it. Now, he needs another barn. So he goes to the builder. And the builder goes, well, I've got food already. I don't really need it. But I do need a haircut. So the farmer goes to the barber and goes, look, I need a farm built, but the builder doesn't need food, but he does need a trim. So, if I give you some food, could you give him a trim so that he could give me another barn? They make the deal. The builder comes, he gets his haircut, lovely. They make the deal, he gives him the food. The builder comes along, gets a haircut. Then he comes back to the farmer, builds him a barn. Everyone's happy, right? And that is the way the cookie crumbles. For everything in this life, everything that's a service, that's how it works. Now, obviously they can't do that every time. There's going to become a point in time where certain things you're not just going to need. He doesn't need a haircut the next day. No one needs a haircut the next day. But everyone's going to need food the next day, right? So what ends up happening? Well, they make, let's say, wooden chips. This is the wooden chip. Now, the farmer has this wooden chip, right? and it will go across and across, and it will keep going between these two people. And this wooden chip is like a favour, right? It's to store it up. I don't need a haircut right now, but I'll keep this now. And we've all agreed that this is to be used like this. And so when this person does need a haircut, he can give it to the barber, he can get the haircut, and then now the barber has a stored up favour, aka a building or some food or a haircut, right? It's a stored up favour. Now again, as I said, the farmer is needed every day. The building, not so much, and the haircut, definitely not. But the food, oh well, everyone needs food, and they need it every single day. So what ends up happening? Well, a lot of these chips get put in the piggy bank of the farmer. Now, the farmer is going to make a lot of chips compared to the others, right? Because food is needed every single day. And now let's just imagine him getting these chips and throwing them in the bin. Why? Why is he throwing them in the bin? Because he has so many favours stacked up that he will never be able to even spend the favours he's got. All he'll be able to do is just look at them. And at one point they're going to get so much, he's going to have so many, that he will not be able to spend them. Now what happens? Well, what happens is a lot of favours that have been done by these guys that they've given over, for exchange. Let's say there was a limit of 10 of these coins, and the farmer has 9 of them. What happens? The exchange between everyone else kind of slows down. The favours kind of slow down. And at one point, people will just not ask for those favours because they can't give them anything of worth, because the farmer has them all stacked up in his barn. That is what's happening with real life. The only difference is it's not really a farmer anymore. It's big tech companies and influencers and all these other big players in the game that have stored up so many of these that is starving the rest of people. It's starving the rest of the normal people. We once used to trade favours, now we trade money for those favours, which is the same thing. We can't trade. We can't do an efficient trade if none of these are in the system. There needs to come a point where the farmer spends that money. And a lot of times, this will only ever be passed to another farmer. And people go, oh, that doesn't really make sense. Oh, yes, it does. It makes more sense than you think. Fortunately, a lot of times it will be passed to another farmer, keeping the rich rich. Not all the time. Sometimes you have farmers that go and get a haircut every week because they feel like they need to give, they need to use those chips up. Maybe they'll get more houses built and whatnot. But most of the time, this chip will only go back to another farmer, and they'll only spend the chips that they need with these people only when necessary, because they understand that if they starve the world of these and they have got the biggest stack of these, they have the power. And I think that is really, really sad. And I also think that if you're one of these people that have many of these favours, many of these chips stored up, you're not stupid. You know what you're doing. You know what you and many people like you do. And you know deep down somewhere that it's not just right. It doesn't sit quite right with you. You may try to justify it of hard work, I deserve this, I did. Yeah, you do. No one's debating that. But there comes a point in time where you have way too many of these, and it needs to be distributed back out to people. I think some people that hold a lot of these chips have always held a lot of these chips, and therefore don't see anything wrong with it. And to those people, I understand. I do. But you have a lot of these chips. It will give you a lot of time to understand, a lot of time to experience things, a lot of time to do whatever you need to do to understand, to try and understand why holding as many of these as possible is really selfish. I grew up in a very violent place, and it took me many, many years to understand that if someone looked at me wrong, not to punch them in the face. But I got to understand, and that's the point. It's the point of progress, right? Sometimes you are failed by the people around you when you're born and they don't teach you right. That's okay, because when you get older and you get the chance to learn outside of the circle that you were brought up in, you can learn and adapt and progress in yourself. So if you are a person that holds a lot of these chips and you think it's okay, try to understand why it's not. And then make your mind up if you want to keep them still or not. But I'm willing to bet that if you really put your heart into it to understand that holding as many of these as possible is not good, you will most likely side with your conscience. And your conscience will say that having £1 million on your wrist, or as a car, or as a fashionable item, is not worth it. It's never worth it, ever. And you'll realise that actually blessing a family, an ill person, a whatever it is way more, you're getting way more of your money's worth with that than you are a luxury item. Greed is something we all sit with, and rich people get highlighted because it's easy to highlight them, and they get the big brunt of greed. But just because you are greedy doesn't mean you need to stay greedy. It's something you can change, something you can improve, and something that might take you a long time not to be. I know violence was put in my DNA at a very young age, and it took me a long time to get it out of my system. So I know that something like greed may be imbued in your heart, but you can learn to get rid of it. You can learn to, over the years, progress to a point where it doesn't even bother you anymore.